Hello, hello, hello. Hello there, East Tennessee. Hope everybody is having a good Sunday so far. Of course, things have gotten pretty busy as we've looked over the rest of your weekend. What you're looking at right now are some of the alerts that we're seeing over the area. We've got the winter storm warning. It's a newer upgrade that happened overnight. We have been upgraded now from a winter storm watch. It's now a warning for the accumulations that we're going to be seeing and the impacts that they are going to cause, primarily on the roads. That's where we're going to be seeing a lot of messiness come through. Also, as we look further up north into Kentucky, there's a winter weather advisory for the same thing, but just a little bit less of the same snowfall totals. As we look into North Carolina, we also see a winter weather advisory, but that's because they could see a little bit of a wintry mix. Now, of course, we have the rain snow line a little bit further off into our south. We're primarily expecting things to stay snowy, but things could get a little bit icy at times. I can break all that down for you in just a second. But really quick, just about today, this is just your good opportunity to knock out any other errands or whatever may have you need to get done through today. It's a little bit on the cooler end right now, and it's generally going to stay cold today. We've got that passing cold front that's going to move through. I've showed you that graphic of that cold air that's sinking into the region. We're seeing a lot of that right now. And so because of that, we have those temperatures that are going to be taking a dip over the next couple of days. I can show you here again that graphic that I've been using a lot. Again, that deep cold that just keeps sinking further into the area. Highs in the mid 30s, lows in the 20s. And as we get into your Wednesday morning, we see those single digits. And that's going to be part of what makes it possible for some of that snow to stick around, because it is going to be a lot colder. But I'll go ahead and bring up the Futurecast here for you to show you what we're going to be expecting as we get over the next couple of hours. Now, this model in particular, I like the timing and a little bit of the placement of it, but here, just take a look right now. We're getting into your Sunday where we're just seeing a little bit of cloud cover. We're seeing a good bit of sunshine as you look out the door. It is going to be a cold day, but at least it will at least be a sunny day. So as we get through, we see more of that cloud cover coming in as we get into the afternoon and the evening. Once we hit about the mid-afternoon, once the sun starts to go down, that's just about time you want to go ahead and finish up those last couple errands, take it on home, because that's when things are going to start to get a little snowy, especially if you're a bit further over towards the west. We see that snowfall coming in, and our high-res models are trying to pull that in a little bit faster. We see that coming into the late night and continuing overnight into your Monday. This is going to be kind of the first round, but it's a little bit of those lighter snow showers. You can maybe see an inch and some change as we get through these first 8 hours or so. But then as we get into your later Monday morning and transitioning into the afternoon, that's when we see some of that heavier and more consistent snow coming up, taking over the entire area, particularly heavier in parts of the Central Valley, getting into our northern counties. And I'm seeing some of that, try to expand further up north into the plateau as well. It's already including parts of the Central Plateau, but it's trying to switch its way a little bit further out towards the northwest. But as you look further off towards the bottom right of your screen, some of that pink and some of that green, that's some of that wintry mix that I was telling you about. We've got the rain snow line in our higher elevation, and that's just further off to our south in Georgia. And if that inches a little bit closer, some of that could turn to a wintry mix for far southeastern Tennessee, maybe a little bit of the mountains and foothills. What you saw right there was some drier air coming in that was pushing out some of that snowfall, and then that's how we see that really fade away as we get from overnight Monday then heading into your Tuesday. So things really do start to quiet down from that point, but we still could see a little bit more snow as we get through your Tuesday, but things generally calming down from that point. So how much snowfall are we expecting? This is the official forecast that we all worked on to put together yesterday. With some newer updates, I'm not seeing much of a change. We put about 3 to 5 inches plus as we look into the Central Valley. That's that group that I was saying seems to be expanding a little bit. We're definitely seeing some of that heavier snow in the Central Valley, in the Central Plateau, getting into some of our northern counties as well. But I'm seeing some of that try to stretch a little bit further out into the Northwestern Plateau. That's what some of the guidance from the National Weather Service has been showing us. And so because of that, that's why I'm trying to maybe scoot that a little bit further out. That 2 to 4 range, I think, also is trying to push a a little bit further off towards the northwest. And then again, because of that rain snow line, we are seeing some smaller totals as you work your way further down into far southeastern Tennessee. Think like Polk County. That's where we see some of those snow totals starting to decline a little bit. But that's not even all of the snow that we could see this week. There's actually another opportunity for precip that's going to be coming towards the end of the week around your Friday. Now, right now, there's still a lot to contest about it. There's still a lot we are going to see up until the meantime, but that's what we're watching for right now. I mentioned some of the heavier snowfall is a bit further out, further off towards our west and further off towards the south. This is what the full breadth of this system is going to do. It's going to be starting further down towards areas of southern Arkansas, coming through northern Mississippi, Alabama, and then coming into East Tennessee. So we are really in that stretch of some of the greatest snowfall that we're seeing in the area. But again, that's why I was saying it kind of goes from the Central Valley, then into parts of the Central Plateau, and hangs a little bit further off into the south, because you can then see some of that heavier snowfall is hanging in parts of the Southern Plateau as you get south of Nashville, and then continuing to fall out of the state. Now, I can show you here from the same regional view what we're going to be expecting, just to kind of let you know what this all looks like from a grander view versus just the snow itself falling. Again, we see that coming into your late Sunday night, continuing into your Monday. I think it's going to have a little bit more of a Central Valley focus at that time. Then we hit the late morning, things really pick up, and we see the full breadth of that snow. You see that stretching all the way up towards Lexington, Kentucky. Continues to push on over into the east as we get through your afternoon. So Monday afternoon is going to be that time period for some of that heavier snow. That's when a lot of the impacts are really going to start to be laying it down. We get to the late night Monday. That's again when we start to see that rain snow line coming into play again. We see maybe a little bit of a wintry mix, some iciness as we get into far southeastern Tennessee, maybe a bit of the mountains. That could just be like a nice little coating. We're not looking at any ice accumulations because this is going to be a part of the event that's so short-lived. That continues to pass off again as we get overnight into your Tuesday. Again, drier air from aloft starts to filter in, which is going to decline and fade away some of that snow as we get into your Tuesday morning, and then continuing into the rest of your evening time. So things do calm down fairly quickly, and then your Wednesday, that's when we just really start to see those cold conditions. I'll give you a look at the 7-day forecast just to really show you what we're expecting through all of it. We see a huge temperature decline. You see 6 degrees when we wake up on Wednesday morning. That's when we're really going to be seeing the impact of that colder Arctic air that pushes into the area. So, I mean, not only are we going to be seeing some of that snow, but then we have a lot of that deep cold to go along with it. Something I do want to add about that snowfall, it's also going to be a drier snowfall. So it is going to be a little bit fluffier, may stack a little bit higher. So that's why we have been really trying not to focus on the totals as much, because that's something that's going to have an impact. It doesn't pack down as simply as a wetter snow would. But aside from that, temperatures cold, dangerously cold. The 4 Ps, people, pets, pipes, and plants. Make sure you are keeping your entire family safe, bringing the pets inside, bringing the plants inside. Of course, all of that could get frostbite. We, people, and other animals have a risk of hypothermia with those temperatures. So you just want to make sure you are really bundling things up. We have this really cute little graphic from the National Weather Service that talks about how to properly dress for some of those colder temperatures. Taking a second to load there. But yeah, you just got to make sure you're layering up, okay? You have on the long sleeve, you have on the coat, the hat, the gloves, the boots, especially when you're trying to trudge around all this snow. You want to send the kids out for sledding, let them burn out a little bit of energy. It's a great idea. Just make sure you are keeping them warm, especially in those temperatures. Wouldn't even really recommend going outside in those temperatures. Wind chill is going to be a factor because things are still on the breezier end as we watch the system go through. So when you do want to step outside and enjoy some of the snowfall, just make sure you're being as safe as you can when you do it. Now, I think that was about everything I had for you on at first glance. Let me take a second and see if I'm missing any questions. Maddie, have you seen any questions in particular?
No, but will you show again the radar, like starting Sunday night and moving into Monday?
Yeah. From the regional or the?
From the regional, yeah.
Okay.
Closer one, is that
The closer one?
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
So people are asking.
All right, this is the one looking just at East Tennessee, looking at your futurecast again for the timing of some of this snowfall. I'm really seeing our high resolution models push this snow in a lot earlier and really showing to push its way into the area as we get to around maybe 9 to 10 p.m. is when we see it making its way in from the west. This model shows it coming in pretty quickly. Once it does, that snowfall makes its way in from the west, and then it kind of hones in, giving a little bit more focus in areas a bit more south central during the morning hours. Then once we hit your late morning, then heading into your Monday afternoon, that's when we see that snow take a turn for the heavier. So that's when we see it really start to take over the full area. Some more of that heavier snow starting to travel a little bit further up in towards the north. And that's what we see during the afternoon. Once we get into the nighttime, the sun is down. That's when we start to talk a little bit more about that rain snow line that I've been mentioning. It may start to rise a little bit further up into the north. So some of that pink and some of that green, some of that could maybe turn into some iciness if some warmer air starts to enter the fray. So maybe a little bit of wintry mix to come on top of it for people in far southeastern Tennessee and maybe the mountains and the foothills. Otherwise, things are going to stay wintry for just about everybody else, although I do see some models trying to push that line a bit further up north. It's something we'll continue to watch because that could impact totals as well. But again, we go from late Monday into Tuesday. We're watching that snowfall continue to fade. We've got some drier air coming in that's going to make that less possible. And we continue into a much calmer Tuesday by the afternoon. So when it comes to totals, our highest totals are sitting in parts of the Central Valley, some of our northern counties, and a little bit of the central southern plateau as well. As we get towards the far northwestern plateau, that's when we start to see some of those lighter totals. But the bubble of heavier snow, it seems like it's trying to expand a little bit further up into the north. Totals are lighter further off into the south again because of that rain snow line. Some of that can maybe become a little bit wintry. They're not showing as much of that deeper cold, so they may not see as much of that snowfall. The biggest impact we're looking at for this are the roads. Now, luckily, kids are already going to be off school tomorrow, but that's also why we have the 10 weather impact day for Monday and Tuesday, because we're going to still be seeing the impacts from that snowfall as we continue through the entire 48-hour period. Roads have been treated, but it's still likely going to take a while to actually clear the snow. A lot of that may become slush. Then we're going to have to worry about things like black ice, if any of that snowfall melts. If we get some good direct sunshine, that'll really help, because temperatures themselves definitely will not be cold enough. Say, are there any? I think that about hits that. Were there any other questions, Maddie, or anything else you think I should hit? Awesome. Well, yeah, I'm going to actually be scheduling a couple of posts for social media as well, so you guys will continue to be updated through the day. Mike Simon is going to be coming as we get into the evening time, so he'll be here for all the shows then, and then we've got a whole lot of coverage planned for you guys here on WBIR as we get into your Monday with all this snowfall, starting even tonight with some of your late night shows and continuing into your morning time. So stay tuned here with us with Channel 10. We're going to continue to keep you updated on everything else that's